now.
Okay, hello, welcome to today's session. Appframe scheduler, we will have a deep dive in.
Yes.
But first,
Modestas is joining us, yes?
yes,
On that?
he is. And just to internal check, have you been doing any skiing lately, Johnny?
Yeah, it's a nice winter here. So
Yeah.
actually, yes, I was also participating in a ski race.
Yeah.
You know that?
I know.
Yeah.
I haven't
I
been.
came out fifth.
Fifth place?
Yes, I'm very proud of that.
Yeah. Fifth of how many?
Yeah, okay, so then it's over to Modestas and he can talk about the Appframe scheduler.
Yes. Let's see.
Oh,
we
hello.
have, Modestas, you are with us?
Yeah, yes. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I will start sharing my screen then. Can you see it?
Yes. Now you are live. Yeah. Good.
Okay. I'll start from documentation. Basically, we have this Docs Omega 365, and this is our new tool. Basically, it's pretty well documented. You can go into Docs and see all contents what we are going to talk about. Scheduler basically is a thing to run SQL procedures, async jobs. So basically, we can run .NET code, schedule a .NET code, and also a queue processor. Queue processor main purpose is that you would be able to run some .NET code from SQL. So basically, you can have a trigger where you insert some .NET method, and then a queue processor will get it and will execute it. We can go to CUI. Basically, what we have here, we have one SQL procedure. We can specify timeout, frequency, when we want it to run, which days we want it to run, and also if it fails, we have last error message where we can basically troubleshoot it. This lookup can give us either we can pick up a type that it's SQL procedure, or we can pick up type of, for example, this async job, which I told you about. To create an async job, we can use code modules. We have pretty well it made. Just basically, you just need to use a template and create it, and basically we have it here. And basically, when this job is in scheduler, this line will be executed in the given interval which we want. Queue processor, basically we have a queue table where we insert some data what we want to run, and it's basically like additional task. It just loops through that table, and if it gets some value, it executes it. So it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
What to tell you more? Queue. About queue, maybe. We have already built-in queue. Basically, you can create your own table with your queues, what you want, but every system already has a stable system queue where you could insert records, and if it fails, it's also nice for troubleshooting. If it fails, you can get this error here and check it out. Most of the issues comes because those tasks are running in scheduler context, and it might not have proper permissions. For example, no select permissions, and that you can troubleshoot from here.
So the main three types are a SQL procedure, a job, which will be then a code module, and then a queue, which also could be.
It's also basically a code module.
Yeah.
Just we used to see code. We know code modules mostly as a root handlers, but there's more use cases how we can use. So those use cases can be a sync job or a queue processor. Yeah. If about queue processor, we can have our own queue processors if we want to. Just I think it's quite rare case. Why we need that? I'll just show you this documentation site that you can read if what. But I guess in many cases you are good to go with system queue.
Yeah.
So basically, this insert, this is some async job, some async job method, and some parameter which I want to send. If I do this insert, this scheduler will pick up it and execute this async job.
Yeah.
Okay. What else to tell us here? Do you have any questions about this part?
Johnny, any questions?
No, just a general question compared to this other task scheduler feature we have that some of our products are currently using. What are the main differences?
This task service, it's basically a Windows server, a Windows service. So if you want to run task service, basically you need some server, some Windows server. There you need to, how to say, set it up, and also you. If you want to create a task in a task service, basically you need Visual Studio. You need to create a console application which does a job, and also you don't have UI. You need to go to some configuration file, specify connection string, specify your tasks, and also specify interval in the seconds. Of course, it's also a good tool, but it's limited only to some console applications only.
Yeah, but this is much easier to kind of administrate for sure
and deploy.
Yeah.
Kind of creating yourself, especially those smaller type of applications, maybe where you have a code module that you need to execute on an interval or on a frequency. Much easier to create and deploy versus on the task service.
Actually,
yeah, go on.
So actually, it's a very good point. Our updater already handles code modules. So, for example, if you create code module, you can just how to say put it in updater and it will be deployed. If you have this Windows application, Windows app, so then you need still, you need some maintenance resources to do that for you. And in this case, you can write your own queries to insert a job for yourself.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, basically you don't need any server. It's like dedicated. Also setup. Maybe we didn't. I forgot to tell you about how to set it up.
Yes.
Basically, it's pretty simple, like with a task service. The only difference is that task service is a Windows service and scheduler is HTTP module. HTTP module runs on the side. So basically what we need to add jobs connection string. We need to create a user, a dedicated user for scheduler. And also we need in web, this is the most complicated thing that we need maybe cloud support to add setting in web config.
Okay.
That we need to register this HTTP module.
Yep.
And also best practice for this is to have it on a test site, on a test environment, or have it like to have dedicated website only for scheduler.
Yep.
That we don't interfere with users working on the main site.
Also for performance then, so either running it on your test site in IS or have a dedicated one to differentiate from the production site.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
And a key thing that is written at the bottom of the documentation is that these jobs are executed in a context of the scheduler user.
Yes. Basically, when we create a login for it, we need. There are two ways how to handle stuff. So, for example, if my application is using some view, having only database user is not enough because view will not return any records for him. That's why we need either to add to create a frame user, in system users table, we need to have that user there, that we could assign some frame roles for it, to be able to select some data from a TBV, or we need explicitly to tell for a trigger or for a view that if the user is a scheduler, please allow to get some data for it. Yeah, this is also quite important.
Which also means then that both in that code module or in your SQL, that if there is any specific kind of security permissions that your application needs, you need to remember to implement that. Still, this AF scheduler needs to have permissions to, and will be the user executing, but of course you could change the context to another. But the security is important then, the data security in what you implement, yeah?
Yes, with this procedure, it's quite new procedure. Maybe it's released only previous release. We make sure that scheduler user has permissions to system stuff like how to access system queue, how to access jobs table. But for application logic, yes, you basically. Applications needs to decide how to implement that security. It should be either a frame role or it should be some overrides in standard ATBVs, triggers, and similar stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
If you go back to the scheduler itself, this and I see you have kind of started, connected, reload. And I can see there's blinking some green, so you get some statuses live here.
Yes, basically it tells when it last run it, and it tells this blinking green. It runs every 10 seconds. So basically, each 10 seconds it should blink. It should say that, hey, I'm running. Hey, my last run was this time. Hey, my next run time will be this time, and you see that everything blinks. Those buttons, they're just to stop scheduler if we need to. I mean, it's just how to say, it's just access to API that say I don't need scheduler now, please stop. For some of the reasons there might be. Reload schedule button. Basically, we need that button to reload all HTTP module. That we don't need to reload the whole site. We may reload only HTTP module. For example, if we are working on some async job, and async job is a code module. A code module can be reloaded on the site, but in order for scheduler to see that our new content, we don't need to reload up domain. We just need to reload, press reload schedules button here.
Okay. So when you publish a new version of your code module, you need to remember to reload the schedule.
Yeah. Basically, it's very important when you're doing some testing, in the beginning of starting to using this.
Yeah.
And I guess another very important thing is that you have to use this tool with care as well. Be careful because of the performance. That's one thing for sure, that you could set up a lot of jobs and use some of the PIMS report or something is very slow, and you troubleshoot that report, everything looks fine, but then it's actually because there's a lot of jobs going on and causing hammering the server.
Yeah, but same as with kind of if you have multiple SQL jobs, and of course putting on a SQL job running every 10 seconds or every 1 second might not be the best idea. Kind of to hammer. It really depends on the.
Yeah, because I saw one thing, for example, this one that is run every 10 seconds, it was executing for 780 milliseconds or so it's a...
So it's quite some expensive queries running every 10 seconds, so it will have some impact for sure. So for you that are responsible for a solution and a database, carefully have a good overview of which jobs are running, what's the duration, and performance caused by them.
Sorry for interrupting. Basically, we need to keep all best practices in place. For example, if we have a SQL job view, it should have no logs. Basically, we need to we need to think that that we don't need to think that if if it's not run by user, we're not affecting a user, it won't affect we still need to care about it, because a process procedures needs to be still not non-blocking. If we have a million of reads, million of inserts, it will block a database. If we have a drop statement, it will block a database. This scheduler, whatever scheduler, task servers, or SQL jobs we will use, all the tasks will block. If there's a block statement, it will block. The same is with async jobs. If if it has memory leaks, it will break a site eventually. So we always need to care about everything.
Absolutely, it's important to. Well, that's good. Is there other features that we want to present? I saw you had some good documentation on docs.omega365.com. You should have the majority of course, if you have a PIMS solution set up, everything are already set up. If you have a bit older version, you contact the cloud team to get the scheduler set up, especially the web config part. The rest you can do yourself. And then, yeah.
Yeah, basically, a new thing to R4 is this scheduler startup delay. Sometimes if we have really many tasks in scheduler, it might stop a site from loading.
Yeah.
We are aware of that bug, but basically this startup delay solves this. By default, it's 60 seconds. It came 2 months ago, so if you don't have latest version, please upgrade, and you should have it.
Yep.
But basically, this solves that issue. I mean, this startup stuff. Yeah. And I guess for regular developer, this part, it's not so important. It's one-time setup. Basically, you set it up and you forget it. If you need your your own table to process your own queue, you can go here and read about it. Basically, it's just a table and a different queue. Queue processor. It's also additional code module, which you get a table name, which is processed, raw data from that table, and you just combine it together. So nothing fancy. But like I said, I guess in most cases you will be good to go with system queue, that you need just to insert data into a specific table and it will do whatever you want.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Modestas, for introducing us to the scheduler. And anything more to say?
No, I don't think. Not today.
Yes. Then,
There's next Friday we'll meet again, and there's something exciting to show at that time as well.
Yeah, maybe a gold medal for Johnny's ski performance or not.
Yeah, and it was only 5 participating in that competition, by the way. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Modestas.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
Yes.
See you
Bye-bye.
next Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye.